Start recording. Guys, I'm not a financial advisor, blah, 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 blah. This is just my thoughts and views of the stock market. All right. BZFD, first things first. Had shitty gap stats, but what did we say we're going to look at? Sometimes you just got to look at the price action, right? As you can see, look, guys, the stocks but look, started down here at 60 cents, ran up. All these people, right? They're probably going to want to take profits into a big gap up. So where is the levels? Well, let's go find the levels. We have an ultimate high pivot right here at 465. We have another one at 488. We have another ultimate low pivot at 520. The first 2 or 3 pivots is all I care about. I'm not going to say, oh, we have pivots at $6 and pivots at $9. Who gives a shit? It has to go through these first. Now, pre-market, I'm saying this price action sucks. Why? Because this makes a lot of levels. I don't fall for this stuff at the open because there's just too many levels. I want to get closer to the pivots. But I'm well aware that there is a trend line break right here. All right? And now I'm aware that there is a pivot right here. So I'm watching the volume at the open right here, watching it trap. It comes up, guys. I'm looking. 1.5, that's not crazy volume. As long as it's below 2 off the open, I'm not really that worried about it going crazy. Now, guys, we make a high right here. We pull back. At this high, there's no trigger. And we're not close enough to that level yet. Right here, we have a trend line, and then we have a high set. We go like this. We check that high. It comes up. As soon as this starts to fall back below, we have a fake breakout right here. Fake breakout. Boom. Big dump. Top is set. Now we got a fake breakout trigger right below a key level. And then, guys, look. Boom. Lower high position fib bounce. So you short on the trigger, you add on the fib bounce. Or you short half size on the trigger, you add on the fib bounce. Or you just wait for the bounce, wait for the top to be set, and you short on the fib bounce, risking at the high. That was beautiful. And our target, guys, is always previous day high on day 2, day 3, day whatever gap up besides day 1. Previous day high is the final target. Now look what's happening. Who cares? We don't care what's happening because we already hit the target perfectly. Just like GME, just like AMC, just like FFIE. Fucking previous day high. Trigonomics 101. Trigonomics 101. And then fib bounce. Boom. Beautiful. I'm surprised it went straight down like this because there's so many levels here. But that's what happens when you have a huge gap to fill in the daily chart, right? That was pretty basic of a trade. It's just we didn't want to fall for this right here, right off the open, so we waited. Smart move. That was too far away from the pivot. Pretty easy. Does everyone understand that? That's all I did. No rocket science. Just fucking watching the price action, looking at the volume, waiting for my trigger, and then hitting the fib bounce. That's it. Anybody have questions about that one? No? All right. Next, unfortunately, what about the stuff trigger on the... Yeah, I don't fall for the stuffs at the open a lot. These are quite often fake moves, especially when they're that far away from a daily level. That's what I said on the microphone. It's like, dude, if this stuffs, I'm not going to trade it because there's too many levels in pre-market right below, and it didn't come close enough to a pivot. If it doesn't come close enough to a daily pivot, I don't care what it does. It can stuff and die without me. You just put yourself in a bad spot. Pop, stuff, short right here, and now you're screwed. Right on top of a whole dollar, and now you're screwed, and then it rips on your face because there's no pivot there, so it just wasn't worth it. Next we had SYTA, which I'm a little salty about. SYTA, same shit, guys. We're looking. It's almost like, look, this thing had a big gap to fill, right? Big gap to fill right here, okay? But it had really good gap stats. So if it's not going to fill the gap, all I really care about, you guys, is that it gets to the high of the resistance down here, right? Which we had multi-touch pivot right here at $5. Guys, when you have a multi-touch pivot plus a whole dollar, that shit is strong, really strong. So multi-touch pivot plus a whole dollar. I don't like how long and flat this was. I feel like it could, if it got going, it could break out. But that's besides the point. We don't know if it's going to break out or not. So all we can do is watch. We're waiting for it to go up close to our level, right? Now, look at this. That's a 32% spike, guys. That's almost double the median spike for a small cap, okay? So, we're just waiting. We're not trading it here because that's 40 cents away from the pivot. We're waiting. But right here, where we set this high just like last time, now we have a fake breakout at or just below the $5 pivot. 492, and then it falls back below short. Also, guys, look, 2 triggers, 1 level. 2 triggers, 1 level. Fake breakout trigger, and then trend break trigger. I missed it, unfortunately, and then I said, ooh, we might have a head and shoulders pattern setting up, which would have been nice. Left shoulder, head, and then right shoulder with the fibs. Would have been beautiful if we popped back up to here, but it didn't make it, so I missed it. But as you guys always see, look, guys, on the way up, right? Look at the volume, 1.4, 1.5. On the fib bounce, look at the volume, 0.66. This is a 50% reduction in volume. So if that popped up to the fib, I would have smashed it. Unfortunately, it didn't pop up to the fib. It only made it almost to the 50 fib, so that kind of sucks. But if you weren't watching too many things, the trigonomics is right here. You got a fucking fake breakout. You actually got a stuff candle right here, and then you got a trend break. Almost like 3 triggers in 1 level. So that was pretty nice. And remember, that one had 100% gap stats, guys. 10 times gapped up, 10 times fucking closed below the open. That is what I like to see. I like it, I like it, I like it. All right. Next, we had BNED, which I screwed the pooch on that one, to be honest with you, because it was a fucking SSR turd. I shouldn't have choked out the trade too much. Guys, I don't like when they drop this far before the open. They drop so far, filling most of the gap visually, right? They drop, look at, let me delete all this crap. It dropped so far going, it's a day 2 gap up, right? It dropped so far, it already went to the target before it started bouncing, all right? I don't particularly like when that happens, when it flushes to the target, then spikes. But look, you guys, we had 130, ultimate high pivot, and then 150. The next pivots that I care about, 130, 148 to be exact. So, what are we doing? This can be a little tricky right here because guess what? This stuff trigger is really close to that 130. So, it's stuffed. Problem was it came back and held $1 right here, guys. Probably shouldn't have shorted the fib bounce on an SSR ticket after it held $1, but I still tried it right here, and then I cut it right above here. I pretty much top ticked my exit, which was stupid. And then once we got the rejection at 130, even the double top when I saw it again right here, when I said it's probably done, I didn't take it again because now look, I just don't like SSR stocks, right? There's something that I just don't feel that comfortable trading because I feel like they're always fucking gamey, but I did see it right here, and I probably could have taken it again, but I didn't. So that was a tough one because you got a trigger and a fib bounce. The other thing is, look, guys, right? Pay attention to the volume. Look, the volume on the run-up right here. Look how high it is. Look at the volume on the fib bounce. Look how high it is. Is that a 50% reduction? No. That's not a 50% reduction in volume. That's no reduction in volume. So, yeah, it could still break out. So that was tricky. I probably should have just took this and gave it a little room, maybe to $1.50. You know, took it at like 130 and gave it to $1.50 instead of jamming my stop. But really, guys, when you get a rejection like this, and a trend break near a key level like that, if you don't take the trigger, just make sure when you put your fibs on like this, all right? If you don't take the trigger, yeah, the halt bands suck too. But if you don't take the trigger, watch it right here. Well, this fib bounce, this volume shouldn't be as high as it over here, all right? When this is bouncing back up to lower high position, the volume shouldn't be elevated as high as it was on the front side. If it is, it's probably better to just ignore it, which I screwed that up too because I still took it even though I saw the volume was still pretty high. Guys, look at that. 3.5 million. This is way too high for max volume. So that's why it plays more games. Think about volume, just what it is. Volume is volatility, right? The higher the volume, the more volatile it's going to be. The more games it can play, the more harder it's going to be to trade. That's how I look at it. So, yeah. Gives you a trigger. Volume stays super high. It breaks out again. It dumps. Volume still super high. It almost breaks out again. But at this double top right here, and it falls back below the 130 pivot, definitely could have taken it again. I didn't because we were up so much on the other trade. I just said, fuck it. But that was also a cheapie right on top of $1. The other reason why I didn't love it that much. But that's what we should have done. We should have just not hit that fib bounce. Either took the trigger right here with your stop a little above, or maybe traded it more system style with a little wider stop because it's on SSR and because it's a fucking right over $1 and, you know, more weird looking, you know, just more difficult trade with that price action and volume, you know. All right. Next we had Next we had coin. Why am I trading coin today? Why? I just happened to look at it and see this, you guys. Remember, top-down analysis, weekly chart. Look, you guys. Look at this. First pullback to the weekly 21, second pullback to the weekly 21. So I already know it held the weekly 21 perfectly, just like it did right here. Now, I go down to the daily chart, and I look. Hey, look at this. This thing broke its downtrend on the daily chart, and now it's flagging right on top of the daily 21, 8, and 34. They're all in the same exact spot. And it dipped and it held yesterday's low. So now I know I can have this very key support at 220. Now, I go down to the hourly chart, and I say, hey, look at this. This thing's curling off the hourly 8, curling off the hourly 21. All right? About to flag break again on the hourly chart right here. See that? I'm watching that right there. It's about to flag break off the hourly 8. Now I go down to the 10-minute chart and I look, guys. What is happening right here? I saw it flagging right here. So now I know I have daily EMA support. I know we're bouncing off the weekly 21. And we're also flagging on the hourly chart. We're also in a squeeze on the 10-minute chart. And we're also, EMAs on the 10-minute chart are stacked. And we're sitting right on top of the 10-minute EMAs. Where I have good risk reward to long right here. With my stop right below 225, the last pullback, and anticipate this breakout. Don't get me wrong, when I saw this fake breakout stuff candle, I was like, fuck, I'm going to get stopped out. And then boom, I was like, yeah. So that's pretty much all there is to it, guys. The weekly chart, the daily chart. Look at this, guys. Look. The weekly chart bounced off the 21, right? The daily chart, look at this squeeze. It hasn't even fired yet. Look how long this squeeze is. If this fires and gets going, this thing can blast back up to here, no problem. Look at the hourly chart. Like I said, flagging off the hourly EMAs. Look at the 10-minute chart. Another squeeze. Big squeeze right there that fired to the upside. Boom. All right? The MACD crosses over right here. The 10-minute EMAs are stacked positive. The squeeze fires to the upside. Look, bearish momentum is decreasing, and then it swaps to bullish momentum, and bam. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Right? Just beautiful. Now, I took some profits up here now in the driver's seat. I'll put my stop at even, and if it can't hold the 10-minute EMAs and keep going, then I'll just cut the rest even. No big deal. Next, we had Walmart, which is also just like Netflix and all the other ones we trade off the 10-minute EMAs. Pretty fucking easy. Walmart, guys, gapped up on earnings, right? Look, gapped up on earnings. We traded it this day on the dip. Now what is it doing? Walmart, it made a new high yesterday. This high is right here, all right? Now look, you guys. It made a new high yesterday and it held the 10-minute EMAs. Now today I'm watching it. I'm expecting just to break out over this level and have continuation to the upside. Because we're on a daily breakout on earnings. So as soon as I see this thing start to flush and reclaim the 10-minute 21, long. Long, 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 long. Just like Netflix, just like MSTR, just like SMCI. The 10-minute EMAs are my guide. Look. Under, over, long. Under, don't long. Over. Under, over, long. Easy peasy, beautiful, cover girl. Now I just use those as a guide, right? I entered like right around here, and I want to get at least 66 first, but at this point, see how the 10-minute EMAs are rising? Guys, also, look at the squeeze. Look at the squeeze right on top of the 10-minute EMAs. Stacked positive EMAs in a squeeze. Now again, stacked positive EMAs in a squeeze. I want the squeeze to fire to the upside and take this higher. And now the 10-minute EMAs are rising, so if it starts to curl over and lose the 10-minute EMAs, I'll just cut the rest even because it's not staying bullish. That's it. All right? That's pretty much everything I traded today, and that's why. Those are same things I do every day, same fucking setups, over and over and over again. Does anyone have any questions about that? Easy peasy, baby. Let's fucking go. You're welcome, bro. All this is top-down analysis and looking for a good risk-reward place to enter, right? First things first. Do you have a good setup? Yes. Now can you get in with a good risk-reward at a valid place? Yes. Take that friggin' trade, baby. Let's go. Looks like BNED is going to try to do a fib bounce. But, guys, BNED had a long, flat bottom. Not as good, obviously. I never like fib bounces after a long, flat bottom. But, you know, a long flat bottom like accumulation still probably rejects the fibs, lower high position. Now, guys, look at this. Look at the volume now, right? Look at the run-up volume. And look at this volume. Now, don't get me wrong. This dropped a little too far for me to even want to trade it. It fell so far. Probably wouldn't trade a fib bounce, but still could work. I just probably won't trade it. But which one? I already went over it. Both of them, Walmart and Coin. I'll put the recording on in the trading channel in a couple minutes once we're done. Yeah, were you not here just like since I started? I'll post the recording in the room in like 5 minutes as soon as we're done. Anyone have any questions about any other setups? Okay, cool. Yeah, so that's basically it, you guys. Not rocket science, you know? And if anyone wants to go over MU yesterday, look. Look, you guys. MU yesterday, let's watch. Did we get a double top trigger? Oops. Look, you guys, did we get it? First of all, look how far this fell. When the stock drops all the way down to the 50, guys, I anticipate a double top when it comes back up. Watch. Dropping all the way to the 50 EMA is pretty far drop. All right? So, look, we dropped all the way to 50. That's a far drop. So that I can't anticipate when it pops back up, it might struggle a little, right? Did we get a fake breakout trigger? Look. That's a fake breakout trigger right there, okay? So now, yesterday we gapped down. Now look, pre-market data off. Gap down. We're opening right here. This pivot is too close, all right? I'm not going to short this pivot on a huge gap down like that. So above that, where is next pivot? Next pivot is right here. So on the watch list yesterday, it said short near 128.75. This is a top tick short, you guys. Why is that? Well, a few things. Number one, look at all this volume that's done up here. It's hard to reclaim it. Everybody who bought right here is bagged. So if the stock makes it back up there, they just want to take profits. They want to be happy to get out. Number two, the 10-minute EMAs crossed to the downside. Did we break the most recent level of support? We did. So this is also a secret setup at the same time. So look, we had a gap down strategy, plus we had a secret setup with a lower high position in the same exact setup on the same exact day. Secret setup plus gap down strategy, short. And now we're just letting it ride down the 10-minute EMAs. Hopefully it comes back down to here. Easy peasy, playbook easy. That's it. Coin off the 10-minute 21 as we speak, guys, like clockwork. 10-minute EMA power. Quick flush, almost touched it. Hopefully now it'll be strong and pull it up to it so it looks like it's touching in a little while. But that's basically it, you guys. The MU was next pivot, gap down, and 10-minute EMA and secret setup short at the same time. And that's why it's, you know, the reason why that works, you guys, again, like I always say, because, guys, stocks, they make higher lows and lower highs. So we made a fake breakout trigger. Now we made a lower low from this low. All right? Look. Fake breakout over this. All right? We have a fake breakout trigger right here. Then we flush down. We make a lower low. So now it's natural to make a lower high. Now hopefully we make a lower low again. All right? That's it. We're making lower lows and lower highs. So that's that. All right. I'll post this recording in a few minutes. Just guys, it takes a little while to go into HD on YouTube. Just remember that. It might take like 15 minutes. Let me stop the recording.